Dave Gregory is a really special person. You know, he really is a special guy. I mean, and all the way through the book, Andy and Colin were admitting that they felt that they were musically his inferior. They'd known him as teenagers as being the star player in the area. And Dave has a very specific way of working that's completely different from Andy. Andy's much more improvisational when they're recording. Dave works out everything carefully and writes out the dots and then plays it. So he would quite often do arrangements, brass, strings, all sorts of things like that. But there was always this problem that he wasn't writing.
Yeah.
Wasn't considered a writer. Didn't like that. Wanted to be a fully fledged member of the gang.
Sure.
And so there was always a little bit of that. Andy is a control freak. He's one of the cleverest, funniest, most visionary, generous people I've ever known. But he can also be really stubborn. And Dave, with his own issues over health, plus the fact that he joined the band later, I think it by the time they got down to Apple Venus and Wasp Star, he was starting to question his involvement with the band. I think it's fair to say he may disagree with me about that, and if that's the case, I'm sorry, Dave. But it certainly felt that way at the time, and that's why he didn't want to be involved with the book. He joined in reluctantly later on. His comments are much more pointed because there were fewer of them, and but they were very useful because he could step back from the Colin Andy dynamic.
I think you need that balance. So you need. And sometimes you need a critical voice to come in and explain why maybe this doesn't work or why it didn't work for him at that time.
I know that during that time it was becoming very uncomfortable, the dynamic between them all, but I don't think any one of them, either Colin or Andy, would in any way criticise Dave as a vital musical member of the band. I think just too good.
I mean, I've had many conversations with Andy over the years, and Dave's always been, up there as far as it goes.
Yeah, he's. I remember on Oranges and Lemons in particular, watching him working there and carefully working out some of the most complicated guitar and keyboard bits and pieces to play for that. And yeah, great guy as well. I phoned up Gregory and I said, "Are you going to come down and see Danny Wally?" He adored his playing, and he went, "Oh, I don't know, Nev. I don't think I can do that." I said, "Well, I'll speak to him. I'll get you a ticket." "Oh no, I don't like going gigs for free. I'm a musician. It's not fair." So I went and spoke to Danny Wally and I said, "Do you like XTC?" He said, "I went to see them 2 or 3 times in California."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, Dave Gregory says he'd love to see you play. Does he live near here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell him his name's on the door." And I said, "He says he doesn't want to pay." He said, "Well, I paid to see them. He doesn't have to pay to see me." And so Gregsy came down, and he was so like, "Oh my God," because Danny Wally, his hero, was all over him, saying, "Wow, it's so great to meet you."
He's a very humble man, Dave. He's a very humble man.
Very humble. Yeah. I think he totally underestimates how important he is musically.
I'd agree. I think he underestimates how revered he is by not just by the fan base, but by an awful lot of musicians.
Yeah.